Hello, good afternoon from Tallinn. I'm Raimo, Head of Partnerships at Estonian E-Residency team.
And I'm Liina, and I'm the Managing Director of E-Residency team.
So welcome to our last live Q&A session for 2025. As it's Christmas time, it's a little bit more festive in the sense that we have Liina here. We have maybe some small questions about about the year, how it went, and what's the plan for the next one. I'm gonna give you a few tips about how to benefit from the webinar the best possible way. Today, it's all about actually asking questions. We have a lot of opportunities to write us what would you like to know exactly. For that, please do use a live Q&A tab. So we will take questions for answering by voice, or we have also some people who are answering to questions in writing. But in order to be answered, then please do add it to the live Q&A. There is a chat option as well. In chat, you can just chat. Maybe you can write us where are you joining today. If you have any questions to other attendees, you can have a conversation there. But if you have any questions to the presenters and speakers today, then please do add them to live Q&A. Also, the second thing is that there may be some social media groups, WhatsApp groups or communities shared, which are about E-Residency. Please be aware that most of them are not managed by E-Residency team. So they are most likely independent chat groups, which is okay to join them. Just you know that there is officially E-Residents of Estonia Facebook group. You can always follow, and subreddit. You can find the links from E-Residency website. And we have guests today as well here. So I'm gonna share the slides now, and we will kick off. So yeah. So we have here, as said, me and Liina, then Pavel from Enti, one of the biggest service providers who are working with E-residents all around the world. And then, of course, we have real E-resident today as well, Markus, who is a little bit addicted to establishing companies in Estonia. He will talk about it himself, but he has more than one company in Estonia by using E-Residency. And today we are focusing on three topics. What is E-Residency? How to become one? What are the eligibility criteria? Then the second part will cover company formation basics, like how to get started, why to have a company in Estonia at all, what to do with business banking account, and so on. And the third topic is a very, very basic beginner's overview of taxation and reporting with your Estonian company. And we answer the questions, me and Liina, as well as Pavel and Markus. So Pavel, stage is yours. What is Enti and what do you offer?
All right, thanks, Raimo. And hey, everyone, thanks for joining this Q&A session. I'm Pablo, and or Pavel, whatever you prefer. I go by both. And I work at Enti. We are indeed one of the biggest service providers in Estonia. And yeah, we work very closely with the e-residency ecosystem. So today my role is kind of twofold: to introduce who we are and then help you answer some of the practical questions you might have about incorporation in Estonia, taxation, and yeah, whatever you can come up with. Basically, what Enti is an all-in-one sort of platform for running a company in Estonia. We don't sell companies and don't do like one-off registrations and then disappear. We're more focused on everything that comes after incorporation, the part that most founders struggle with, because through Enti, what you can do is you can open a company, incorporate an OU, get a legal address and contact person, also called virtual office, which is mandatory for every company owned by non-residents, which I'm assuming most of you are. Also, we can handle your accounting, including annual reports, monthly VAT declarations, OSS declarations, whatever you need. We have professional staff of accountants available. Also, you can issue invoices, sign contracts, and generally stay compliant without needing to become experts in everything that relates to Estonian laws and regulations. we just help you with all of it. And most of our clients are either freelancers or consultants or SaaS or e-commerce business founders who operate internationally and want a stable EU-based company structure that works long term, not just something that like looks good on paper. And during today's session, we'll try to keep things practical and realistic. That means that we will not be able to answer all of your question that like fit all because every situation is different, right? And we cannot promise that something will magically eliminate taxes, for example. It's best to stay compliant with every regulation that there are in Estonia. And we will not be ignoring any substance that or compliance issues just because they're uncomfortable. So yeah, feel free to ask your questions in the chat. And I'll be here to answer them along with my colleagues. Nadia and Nazim are also present to do that exactly. And yeah, with that, I'll just hand it back to Raimo so we can move on with the overview.
Thank you. Just a quick reminder, if you have any questions, please add them to Q&A tab. Chat is for chatting.
Yes. So hi everyone, also from my side, I will be doing the introduction to E-Residency, what it is, how to become one, and then we will stop for a short Q&A and then move forward. So E-Residency is an Estonian government-issued digital identity to global entrepreneurs. It's meant to give you access to Estonian e-services. And how to achieve this is when you become an e-resident, you will receive an e-residency card. And through that card and through the chip that's on the card, you can log on to the most digital country in the world. 100% of Estonian public services have been digitized, and this gives you access to all of our public services. But while most of our public services are meant for our citizens, then the product offering for foreigners is to become a company owner. And when you become an e-resident and create a company in Estonia, you become part of this global community of e-residents that we have. E-residency program has been around for 11 years. We are the first in the world to come up with this idea and this concept. And we are still to this day unique, exactly because of the fact that 100% of Estonian public services have been digitized. What e-residency is not, it's not a travel document. It doesn't give you any residence permits, citizenship or visas. And it does not give you tax residency or guarantee that you would get a business bank account or a personal bank account. Now, who can apply? E-residency is only granted for individuals. And what we've seen over those 11 years is that there are sort of like three groups of people who become e-residents. There's a group of people who are simply fans of Estonia. They are fans of the program and the idea, and they want to become an e-resident and spread the word and spread the awareness about the program. Then there's a group of people who are helping Estonian companies become more effective, meaning that Estonian companies who have foreigners on their boards, management boards or supervisory boards, or they have investors from countries outside of Estonia, they prefer that they become e-residents so that they can sign documents securely and really fast. And then there's a third group of people who I'm assuming most of you are the people who would like to become e-residents because of the fact that you can start the company easily and from anywhere in the world. And once you so e-residency obviously is not open for Estonian citizens or residents. And there are a few other restrictions that apply. We don't issue e-residency to Russian and Belarusian citizens. That's from the year 2022 when the war in Ukraine started. And there are a few other countries with restrictions. And these countries are the countries that we don't have any bilateral cooperation framework on justice, security, or law enforcement. Now, why to become an e-resident? Like I said, our main product offering is an EU-based company. You can establish it 100% online from anywhere, so it doesn't matter where you are, and you don't have to come to Estonia for this. Many people do it by themselves, but many people use service providers' help, like Entity, and there are over 140 service providers on our marketplace, and they can help you get started, because it's even if it's so easy, we hold the world record of 15 minutes to create a company. Then it's still sometimes a headache to go through all of the requirements on your own, and service providers are really, really helpful there. And like I already mentioned, one of the main benefits of becoming an e-resident is to digitally sign documents. Our digital identity, the card that you receive, has the highest ADA standards. It's the strongest there is in Europe, and it's as valid as a handwritten signature. Like I said, since our services are online and have been digitized, you can. There are no time restrictions to you when you want to run your business. Of course, some of the applications on forums and maybe if you want to ask something from Estonian government, then there's a person still there going through your applications, but you can submit them, and doesn't matter when and from anywhere. And like I mentioned, there are over 130,000 like-minded people from over 170 countries. We have a very strong community. People share their experiences. We know that many residents have found partners and clients or employees through the community. And that's really the beauty of e-residency, on top of this ease of doing business, and basically there's no red tape, but the community is what we love the most. Now, about the application timeline. So you apply online. There's basically, you add your CV and you fill out a questionnaire. Then you choose a pickup location and pay the state fee, which is 150 euros. Pickup location is, there's a list of different locations, and it's basically where Estonia has an embassy. So you can go and pick your card up from an Estonian embassy, or come to Estonia if you're coming here anyways. Now you wait for the approval, which is basically, we do an identity check, and then that usually takes 10 to 14 days. And then you receive an email from us. In 90% of the cases, the applications are approved. And we tell you, welcome, you're an e-resident now, and you will need to wait for a little bit longer for the card to arrive in your chosen pickup location. Then when you go to the embassy to pick your card up, make sure that you will take your photo ID with you. And there an embassy official will identify you, and you are asked to give fingerprints for the Estonian government, and then you will receive the card and you can activate it. The card activates within 24 hours, and there's also all of the the form is there how to do it and how to install the Digitop, which is our signing application. And all together, this process takes approximately 5+ weeks. But once you have your e-residency card and you've activated it, then creating a company is really, it takes no time at all. It's a matter of hours instead of days or weeks. So here you can see that we have over 40 locations globally. And what is different this year from the past years is that we had pickup locations. We added a few pickup locations in the looking from our part of the world in the farthest away from us. So we had Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo, and also Bangkok. So these weren't open all the time, but 3-4 times a year, people were able to pick their cards up from these locations. So once you apply and become an e-resident, you might need to travel to get your e-residency card. And I think this is it from my side as the initial introduction of the program.
We're going to take some questions now. Anyway, okay. So I have actually now the question for Markus, who has gone it through at least once or maybe already twice. Like, what would be your tip for the beginner potential e-resident, that if he or she starts filling out the form and going through the whole process, what's probably the most interesting or important thing to keep in mind when starting applying for e-residency?
I think, thank you, Raimo. I think the most important thing from my aspect is that you fill it out with factual data, so that the border police is more likely to approve your application. So really fill out your business plan and what subject you're operating in, but be honest about it, and don't try to trick the system, obviously. And then for the next step, always choose an e-residency service provider that can help you establish the company, because there might be some terms that people are not familiar with in their own countries during the company establishment application.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. As there are more questions coming probably later, then actually, as it's the end of the year, I have a question for you, Liina. Mm-hmm. So if we look back to 2025, what could we say have been like the biggest innovations or accomplishments from e-residency team that probably are beneficial for the community? One thing you said was already the pickup locations. Yes. But
the pickup locations, we're really happy about this, and it's been a very long it's been our wish to be able to deliver the cards further away from Europe for years and years, and occasionally we succeed, and occasionally we don't. But this year we're just super happy about it, and we've seen a lot of growth from these regions in terms of e-residents and also new companies. So that was definitely a highlight from 2025. In terms of what we've done with the program, we have we are quicker and more flexible with our marketing and sales tactics, and that has also resulted in a larger growth from different countries. And what it means is that we shift our focus to where we see organic growth, maybe, and then also exactly when we have a new pickup location, then we do more marketing and awareness raising there. We also launched a new podcast. It's called Winning Friends, and I invite everyone to take a look and listen to those very inspiring stories about starting their own companies and different struggles, but also wins. So we're really happy about that as well. And I think the last point I would like to bring out is that, like I mentioned before, the marketplace where you can find all of those service providers. We made the webpage, the marketplace webpage, a little bit easier for users, so you can filter out according to your, like, whatever service you are looking for. You can filter it out, so it's easier for everyone to use. So I think these are the main topics from this year.
Improved actually the pages of those service providers, so that you get a bit more information in a better structured way, so that hopefully it helps you to make the choices among service providers. But we will move on with the second part, which is about company formation. And actually, for the beginning, I would like to give stage again to Markus, who can now tell the story, what happened, why did he become e-resident, and how has it been so far?
Thank you, Raimo. So I became an e-resident because I realized that I wanted to move around the world and see the world and live, maybe not a nomadic lifestyle, but sort of. And then I realized that establishing a company in my home country came with a lot of headaches in terms of being bureaucratic. So accounting was bureaucratic. The prices are more or less similar, but the accounting was bureaucratic, and the filing of taxes, you need an accountant for that. So that's quite a hard thing to manage by yourself, at least. And then I found out through my high school actually about the e-residency program, and then I signed up a few years later because I saw Estonia as the future tech capital of Europe. I still believe that it is. And yeah, since I signed up, everything has just been a breeze going through it. Everything from accounting services to filing. Everything that you need to file is just much easier than anywhere else that I've lived. And I've lived in the Netherlands, France, and other places where we have more bureaucratic processes. But yeah, now I used to live in Denmark, grew up in Denmark also, and now I live in Estonia because after becoming an e-resident, I started visiting, or also before actually, but I visited Estonia quite a lot, and then I liked the country so much and the people so much that I eventually moved here. So in that sense, the e-residency program became a residence program almost. And yeah, now I've been living here for approximately 3 years. And I've established quite a few companies. I established one company when I was an e-resident in the beginning, and then a few years later, the next came, and then the next and the next. And now I think I have 5 companies registered in Estonia, ranging from a co-working space that's fragmented in the center of Tallinn. So if anyone wants to come visit, feel free. And then consultancies and linguistic automations. And yeah, my goal was when moving here, and also when I started becoming a part of the e-residency space, was to meet like-minded people, because in your country, it's quite in anyone's country. Maybe your countries are more international than mine, but it was quite a small bubble of Danish people, and then I wanted to expand my vision a bit. So I wanted to meet like-minded people and people that I might be able to establish business with. Yeah, and I have had some good, great success stories. I think after moving to Estonia, I've started working a bit with the e-residency team. Worked a bit with the Scandinavian Chamber of Commerce, or from members of the Scandinavian Chamber of Commerce, and then with some of the larger tech businesses.
You are definitely one of those people who is very active in the community of e-residents, and actually fraqmented has become also like one of the physical central points in Tallinn, where actually quite often, as I understand, potential future e-residents are visiting it to get an understanding about what's the vibe there.
Yeah, I've been to Fragmented. I loved it. So we're really happy that you also sort of you take the digital and online community and provide this physical space for everyone.
Yeah, no, I think it's quite great. It's quite great what we have here, and we're happy to refer anyone to the e-residency team. Obviously, we can't answer most of the legal questions and the incorporation questions, but we're happy to talk to people and then refer them to whoever they need to speak to in the e-residency team or in the government.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Markus. I hope you can help us with some questions later as well. So let's go to the topic now. So why to open a company in Estonia? As said, everything is digital, online, and accessible almost all the time. So it makes the business formation and also running it easy. I have been company founder since 2009. I have never submitted anything on paper in my life for my business. And sometimes when I have a presentation about the e-residence, I also show the picture of me and my co-founder sitting in one table, agreeing the company formation basics. It could have been one email, but we decided to meet in one room just because it was a festive moment and we had to argue a lot what the name is going to be, which is always the most difficult part of establishing Estonian company. So yeah, it's trusted, and not only the cybersecurity wise, but also Estonia ranks pretty high in international rankings related to low corruption, low bureaucracy rate. We are part of NATO, EU, and other unions. So it's we could say that it's a stable and trustworthy environment here in Estonia for having a business. Also, it gives you opportunities to find the ways to grow. There are several acceleration, incubation programs in Estonia open for startups that are also created by e-residents. There are some funding options, especially if your business is somehow tied to Estonia itself as well, and so on. And then, of course, actually, find people like Markus and maybe establish his 6th or 7th company with him if it's a good idea. What we consider to be our strength, of course, is actually how quickly you can get the company started. Yes, to get an e-residency, it takes a few weeks, but once you have it, then basically after exiting embassy, you can sit down the cafe next to the embassy and start the company, which usually is so that when you open it in the morning, then it's approved and live in the afternoon. And if you do it in the afternoon, then maybe sometimes it goes to the next business day, but all in all, it's a few hours. Also, you do not have to hire local director or local representative. There is a need for contact person maybe, but not for the agent or director. Everything is digital, and thanks to the fact that Estonian legal and tax environment is pretty straightforward and easy compared to many other countries, and everything is digital, then amount of time spent on filing taxes and actually getting things done to be compliant with the taxation rules and accounting rules in Estonia is about 50 hours a year, and majority of it you can basically outsource to the service provider. Of course, if your business is very big or you have a huge load of transactions and people in payroll, the time is a bit longer, but all in all, you do not need to spend a lot of time and energy on company administration compared to many other places in the world and Europe. And basically, in the life cycle point of view, we can explain it in 3 stages. First is the incorporation stage. When you get started, you have an address for your company, you get your business banking account open. Then it's the running part, which is everything related to being compliant with the rules, using the services of service providers, and then growing, which is actually, is it the physical or virtual meetups, finding partners, customers, even research groups in Estonia or whatever you need to grow your business. As mentioned several times today, there is a marketplace of service providers on our website. It's not a traditional marketplace where you go and buy the service right away. It's more like a curated list of service providers, which we dare to recommend for e-residents. So all the companies there have gone through the vetting process by us. They have done onboarding. We know who are the people who are running this business. Who are they targeting? What kind of customers they have? What's their experience previously with e-residents, and so on, so on. So what's probably the most important for you is that there are several companies who are there to help you with incorporation and provide you the legal address and contact person services. So this is probably the only service that is mandatory for you. So when your address is outside of Estonia, then you need actually appoint a contact person in Estonia or have the legal address here. So this is the only service you actually need. But in addition to that, probably it's very likely that you need accounting, maybe sometimes tax or legal advice. You are thinking of joining any of the acceleration programs, looking for co-workings like Fragmented in Tallinn. Those options are also available in the marketplace. Now, when you have already this growing company in Estonia, then you would like to find the ways to boost your growth. And we hope that we have one of the most comprehensive list of options for growth in English available for entrepreneurs. There are more than 80 different grant options, acceleration programs, funds that are working all with e-residents as well. So we always recommend to go and check out those options. Definitely go forward to their own website to check whether those specific programs have the application round open or not right now. But all of these are suitable options for e-residents for applying. Yes, indeed, if you apply for grant in Estonia, it may be that there are some specific criteria, but which may limit your possibilities to get the grant. But all in all, your company is exactly as mine or Liina's company if you start applying for some kind of support. It's just depending on the criteria of specific grant, maybe you will get it and we don't. So anyway, most of the e-residents establish private limited company or OÜ, as it's called in Estonia. It's the most popular one. You can have one or several founders there. Share capital in Estonia is a 1 euro cent, or most of the e-residents start with 1 euro, so it's basically nothing. So it's not an obstacle. It's suitable different kind of businesses, SMEs, solo businesses, but also startups. I think Bolt was still quite recently still also OÜ, which is one of the biggest unicorns that came from Estonia. But you can also establish a partnership, or it can be also in the end public company or non-profit. But you cannot register as a sole trader or a freelancer as an e-resident in Estonia. And then the costs part, there are two definite costs you cannot avoid. If you apply for e-residency, it's a state fee 150 euros. If you establish a company, then the state fee is 265 euros. On top of it, some service providers also ask a bit of the service fee, but not all of them, especially if they are doing campaigns to get new customers. Then the contact person services, or the legal address and contact person services, which is probably the first very basic thing you need. The prices start around 200 euros a year, sometimes even a bit less, 200 to 400 euros a year, depending on the service provider. But this is for those companies who does not have any business activity. So, but if you have already invoices coming in and out, and you have financial transactions going on, then you need accounting, and then the prices depend a lot on volumes, how many transactions you have, how many invoices you have. Also, do you have someone in payroll? Do you register VAT number? But roughly, micro companies can do it in around 50 euros, which quite often already includes the contact person service as well. So yeah. And then the question is about business banking options. Majority of e-resident companies choose the option of fintech, or some people call it online banks, like Revolut, Wise, Paysera, Vamo, whatever. There are several options in our marketplace as well. So it means that you can open account online. There is a wide choice. Their user experience is usually better than traditional banks. It's very handy. It's just those service providers do not provide credit services, and you cannot get a loan. If you would like to have a traditional bank account in Estonian bank, then you should be aware that there are two things you need to keep in mind. In order to get it opened, you have to visit Estonia physically, the bank office. And even probably the more important thing is that banks would like to see a clear business ties to Estonia. It means that you either have some people here, significant amount of business takes place in Estonia, you have some relevant suppliers for your business model in Estonia, or you have some connections to Estonian business. And the third option is that, let's say, you have already several businesses in some other European Economic Zone country, I don't know, let's say Poland or Germany or Spain, for example. You can turn to the bank who knows you well and ask for the option that are they okay also opening an account for your Estonian company. If your bank does some additional KYC and says that it's fine, then for e-residency, it's in compliance wise, it's perfectly well to have the account also in a Spanish bank, for example. And yeah, there are several options in our marketplace, so you can go and compare them. Two banks in Estonia that has said out loud that they are more open to working with e-residents are LHV Bank and Coop, but you can try others as well. And then there's a huge selection of fintech services that you can choose. Now it's time for questions again. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so I have actually a question for Pablo or Pavel right now. You have like a lot of experience in helping company founders in the very, very first stage, which is like they turn to you, would like to ask something about the incorporation, about the general rules. What are the main things that founders sometimes misinterpret or miss, or just maybe don't understand right away that you would like to point out here that they are well prepared when they turn to you or other service providers with their first company formation?
Sure. I think Markus's words were really on point in terms of being as transparent as possible when you apply for the card or when you start your business, when you go to open a bank account. I would say one of the most common misconceptions may be the one referring to VAT registration. People don't really realize what the situations are when they do need to get a VAT number. Because the 40,000 euros turnover threshold is not the only requirement for you to get this number. So we usually explain that in the chat or in a call. So everybody feel free to just hit us up in the chat or on a call. You can book that for free. Yeah, what else? I would say, I would say it's really important to just get a basic understanding of the tax system. So yeah, for any sort of questions relating to starting your own business, just let us know and let's take it further.
What's your recommendation usually in terms of opening a business bank account? Yeah, what were like any thought exercises you give them, like how to make the choices?
Well, I believe most of our customers do use Revolut or Wise. We also recommend Paysera and Wamo. These are the most popular options because to us it doesn't really matter. They work fine, they integrate well with our platform, and the customers seem to be happy about them. So it doesn't really matter, but it's important to understand that not only this bank needs to be registered in the European Economic Area, it also needs to be available in the country where you live. So for example, if you live in a region where Revolut does not provide services, they will likely not be able to open an account for you, even though this company is registered in Estonia. It matters to all banks where you are as well yourself, and they may ask for something called an operational address proof or like a trading address proof, which is always where you are, not where the company is. So yeah, it's important to keep that in mind for sure.
Okay. I have now a quick question to Markus as well. Again, you have a lot of experience now. So like what's your main recommendation for the starting entrepreneur? Like what are the like the key things to keep in mind in the very first months of having this company and actually figuring out what are the obligations? Like, do you rely mainly on service providers? Do you recommend to read a lot independently or ChatGPT or whatever? Or what's your
Well, now I think now I would recommend that ChatGPT is a big help, but obviously the service providers are there to help, and all things considered, and relative to other countries, their services are quite cheap. So I would really recommend choosing a service provider where you get some maybe not legal advice, but some legal hints, and you can ask some questions in a chat, and then then use the E-Residency website and the government's websites. They're all in English, and just read as much as you can to try to understand all the rules. But I will say the rules are might not compared to other countries. The Estonian rules are not too complex. I feel. So they're written in plain English on most of the websites, and that's yeah. So especially now, they've been vastly improved the last few years. So yeah.
I have actually a fun question to Liina now, because we have, and maybe also to Pablo. Maybe you have a few minutes to think about what's the craziest or most interesting or the coolest business idea you have heard this year from some of the e-resident. But this is for Pablo. This is for Pablo. But for you, is there any e-resident companies you are especially proud of this year, or some like cool things or cool founders you have met this year?
Yeah. Actually, we there are a few names that I'm aware of. So, for example, there's an e-resident. Frank Sondors was voted Newcomer of the Year in Estonia at Startup Awards. This is a Latvian-Lithuanian AI sales agent. Startup Salesforce. So they are really kicking butts.
They are doing great then, yeah.
Yeah, they are. So Salesforce and was one of the star this year. And then there's another a company called Useful, and they made an exit. So they grew the company to the stage where it was possible for them to sell it. So congrats to them as well.
Yeah, they are like it's great, like a great example of benefiting fully from e-residence.
Yeah.
Because if I remember, then all the three founders were from different countries.
Yes.
And they were running it through e-residency. One of my favorite findings this year, I found out that there's a e-resident company who is basically a kind of creative agency and kind of engineering company that is doing musical instruments where you can connect the technical part with whatever objects you get it to use them as a musical instruments. Like I have seen a video that they connected them with fruits and then played music with it.
Wow, that's very interesting. But it's also very cool to see that whenever so we know that 38% of all of Estonian startups are somehow connected to an e-resident. So every fifth company created in Estonia for the past 2-3 years is created by an e-resident. So as you know, Estonia, or you might know, Estonia is we have the most like the biggest number of unicorns per capita in Europe. So the e-residents and their companies, the diversification that they have brought to the startup scene of Estonia is really noticeable now, because and there's also like the different ratings of new and the companies you should watch for. We see very often resident companies listed there. So we are super happy when you start a company and then you are able to grow it in Estonia. That's awesome. We're really happy about that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, startup scene is buzzing a lot. Pavel, do you have any good
I don't
story?
think I heard any crazy ideas this year, but there was what I love about entrepreneurs is the enthusiasm. And so I think this year I've had like, there were those four guys who were like barely 18. One of them was in Spain, a couple in Portugal, one in Germany. I believe there was four friends who came up with this board drinking game, and they were so excited about it, and they all got e-residencies, and yeah, just opened their company and started production, and it was really like I felt for them, and I root for them still.
Great story. Anyway, so let's take the most serious topic now as well. As Pavel also mentioned already, you should always think of the compliance part as well, and the taxation part when you start a company in Estonia. We do not give out any specific tax advice here. We are not the tax advisors, and always it's a good idea, especially if your company structure and the income and basically the cash flows will be structured very differently. Then it's always a good idea to invest a little bit of time and resources in talking to tax advisors right in the beginning to get it right, and avoid any longer discussions with tax authorities, either in Estonia, in your home country, or on some other country. But basically, the main rules are that everything related to your personal income tax will be declared where you are a tax resident. So if you are, for example, from Spain and starting Estonian company, then you as a private person still have to declare and pay your taxes for the salary in Spain according to the local rules. For the corporate income tax, you should declare and pay the taxes if you need to pay in the country where it is registered. So by default, your Estonian company is a tax resident of Estonia, but it may have a permanent establishment in some other country as well if significant amount of business and the value creation takes place in certain physical location. Again, is it Portugal or Poland or Latvia or something like this? And you may have also several permanent establishments in different countries depending on the nature of the business. Again, if you have employees or you yourself are employees, then all the social taxes need to be paid where you are a tax resident. So again, if you are from Spain, then you need to pay social taxes in Spain. And then VAT. There is a threshold for that, 40,000 K. You don't have to register it when it's less. But there are also some EU-wide schemes that you can benefit from, especially if you are, for example, from e-commerce outside of the EU, starting selling to EU. It's the OSS and OSS schemes to make the reporting easier, and also 100,000 euro threshold EU-wide in different countries, so that you don't have to register VAT right away. So yeah, your company is a corporate tax resident in Estonia, but it may have permanent establishment several places in other countries. Luckily, Estonia has signed more than 60 different double taxation avoidance treaties with different countries in Europe, outside of Europe. Most of the biggest countries in the world are covered, I guess, and there are definitely some that are missing. But even if the contract is missing, quite often those principles are still taken into the consideration by the tax authorities to not tax for the same thing in both countries. And then, of course, what's actually relevant is that once you have your Estonian company, although everything is easy to do, then you still have to be on time when it comes to the reporting and declaring the taxes. So VAT and payroll taxes are reported and paid monthly. And there is one big annual report, or actually not so big. If you have a small company, then you can get it done very quickly, actually. But it has to be submitted on time. And Estonia Business Register will notify and remind you if you are late with your reports. Also, actually, if you have an obligation to pay the taxes, then Estonian tax authorities do not send you fines right away, but there is a pretty significant interest if you are late with your payment. So all in all, it does make sense to be accurate on that matter. And then probably one of the main recommendations that the service providers will give you as well is don't mess up your personal wallets and the company's wallets. In Estonia, some aspects in taxation are different than in some other countries, especially when it comes to the costs related to representing the company, having business lunches or something like this. So it's worth getting to know these details right in the beginning. And use the help of tax advisors. So Estonia has been chosen 12 years in a row as the best tax system in the world. The amount, like the tax rates is one thing, but probably even the better is actually that tax rules are not super complicated, not too many exceptions. Estonia is a small country, not hundreds of years of history of building up hugely structured tax codes. So that makes it easy to navigate and you can do everything online. We have a pretty unique corporate income tax scheme, which means that there is no annual corporate income tax from the profit. You start paying corporate income tax when you are distributing dividends. Until the money is reinvested and kept in the company to develop it, then there is not corporate income tax. However, if you have a permanent establishment in other country, then this other country may ask also tax contribution. It can be. So, and corporate income tax currently is 22, and from the next year, 20.
Actually, it was dropped. So it will remain 22%.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, my mistake. 22.
No, but it's an honest mistake. It's a very sort of like a recent development. The government decided not to raise the income tax, so it will remain 22. So a small mistake on the slide, but it's a good news. Good news for you, for everyone.
VAT is 24% and threshold is 40,000 K. But if you want to have a VAT number voluntarily already below that threshold, you should have some business activities related to Estonia or sales in Estonia as well involved in your revenue. And then everything can be declared and paid online. And actually, our tax board is reasonable in the sense that if you are doing a mistake, then you are kindly asked to fix the mistake. If you are struggling finding the answer, then you can always contact tax board. They are speaking quite good English and they can help you. We have even heard stories from e-residents who have received tutorials with screenshots how to fix things. So we always recommend that don't be scared of contacting tax board if you are doing your best to be compliant and actually declare everything that you need to declare. Then there is no need to worry. Just ask for help. And of course, if you have a service provider, then they are your best friends in terms of being compliant with the rules. And in the long run, it would make sense to build some substance in Estonia as well for tax-wise. If you are in the future are seriously considering applying for a traditional bank account in Estonia, then if the nature of your business enables to hire people abroad or remote people, even if it's a part-time, then why not to have this person in Estonia? But also the ways to build the substances is to have an office here, people here, maybe store your goods here, use the warehousing services in Estonia, hold board meetings here, register assets, IP to Estonian company, or in the end relocate here as well is the option. We have several articles in the blog and in our website to explain it in a more detail. Now the last Q&A session. So Markus, experienced e-resident entrepreneur, how has it been your journey in the context of taxes and reporting? What have you found out within these 6 years or 5 years?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I think I didn't have much knowledge. I was quite young also. I didn't have much knowledge on the tax reporting. So there were some stuff that I needed to figure out. But once that has been settled, I think everything is quite a breeze afterwards. Yes. Especially if you move to Estonia, then it's a big breeze. But yeah, depending on what country you're from, I definitely recommend that you work with some local tax person to figure out what your situation is, and then yeah, follow the instructions from your e-residency service provider. Um, yeah.
Pablo, what are the main struggles you see from the e-resident companies, let's say in the beginning and then after the first business year?
Well, I believe sometimes, we can only tell you so much about the Estonian situation and laws and regulations, but it's also important to understand your local regulations. And sometimes people struggle with that and they ask us for help, but we just cannot know all this stuff. So, as I mentioned in one of the replies there, it's always best to consult your local tax advisor to make sure you're compliant on all sides, not only the Estonian one, because we'll take care of that, but you also need to take care of your side in your country. But as for difficulties, it's important to remember when and what you need to do in terms of staying compliant in terms of accounting in Estonia as well. We always give people the deadlines that they need to take note of, like upload your documents before the 5th of the month so we can file a declaration before the 20th. And so some people maybe struggle with that in the beginning, but then they sort of get used to it and it's all good. Yeah, I would say that's it. Not all businesses fly. It's important to understand that. But yeah, we really wish the best to everybody.
There is a question, Pablo, about this 100K threshold EU-wide for VAT. What do you think? Can you explain it a bit?
I don't think I'm the best person to explain that actually, because as much as we know it all, it's a bit surface level. If you want to dive down into the intricacies of taxation and accounting, it's always best to speak with a professional accountant, of which we have plenty. So yeah, feel free to reach out.
There's a good article about it in e-residency blog as well. If you Google, actually search for it, then one of our service providers, eVAT, has written a guest post about it in e-residency blog about this 100K threshold. So I recommend to start from there, and then maybe talk to the eVAT directly as well if you have more specific questions on that topic. Then I can tell you honestly, I've learned some things hard way myself. One of the annoying things, but actually necessary things, that everything related to the costs and checks, you have to have the proof documents in Estonia. So in order to be compliant with the accounting rules and then not having unexpected tax obligations, then whatever your company buys, or then you need to have the proof document like invoice. Unless if you don't have it, then it's likely that it will be considered some kind of taxable cost, which you have to pay for. So this is definitely like keep the, if you deal with paper checks, keep them and digitize. And if everything is digital, store your invoices. That's also my practical experience, that I have struggled sometimes with it.
I remembered one more. People sometimes think that if they start a company and don't do anything, don't have any income, don't have a bank account, that it's all good and the company can just sleep. There's no such concept in Estonia as a sleeping company, because if there is a company, it needs to present the tax reports, empty or not. So it's also important to cover that from the beginning, hopefully.
Annual report is still needed as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, zero report basically. Anyway, so I think we have covered most of the questions today. And I have one more thing to share. which is, I think someone already mentioned upcoming startup day. So if you are actually building a startup in your home country, or you are thinking of having one in Estonia, then actually it's a good time to invite you to visit Estonia and our second biggest beautiful town called Tartu. There is a startup day going on in the end of January. It's around 3,000 people who are attending. Out of them, around 30-35% are actually international guests. It's an early stage startup conference. Pitching competition application round is closed already, but it's still possible to come there, meet a lot of investors, basically all the necessary players in Estonian startup ecosystem. Basically all the relevant parties are there: the state, the universities, investors, startups. So if you have time and interest, then come to Tartu. We have a special discount code that you can see on the screen, that if you buy the ticket there, the E-Residency has the special discount code. And we have several E-Resident founders on stages talking their stories about how they have been building their startups, what have been the biggest surprises, also how to be resilient and how to, let's say, work on the very highly regulated environment like crypto businesses, how to run it. Also, there is a seminar about how to deal with retention in the very early stages of having a startup day. And also there are E-Residency team members around, so you can catch us from the networking app or in the venue and ask your questions. So we recommend to come to Tartu, or if you are afraid of winter, then in May there's a next option to come to Latitude 59, which is the other big startup conference in Estonia, which is usually also the biggest annual gathering of E-Residents, where we can proudly say that hundreds of E-Residents are flying or riding to Tallinn to attend the conference and to meet other E-Residents as well. You will get also the follow-up email with the slides and the recording link, but you can scan the QR code and already get the slides we showed today. But it's time to wrap up. I hope that you're gonna have an opportunity to enjoy the Christmas time, and we wish you a very successful new year. Thank you for Pablo and Markus joining us and sharing your experience.
Yes.
And Liina also sharing the Christmas mood with us. So see you again next year if you would like to attend again. So thank you for watching, and good luck.
Thank you.
Raimo, thank you.